Peter?
To shuffle your cards a little bit and find out how you want to set up for postseason play.
Good look at the leadoff hitter here for Georgia, Jim Polo. 262 for the year. You saw the good numbers in the tournament so far for him, as he'll be playing out in left field, and right now is a 1-1 count. Leadoff hitter in the bottom of the first inning. No score for the Georgia Bulldogs. Chamberlain delivers.
Cassetta hit that ball right down the left field line, and Mook was standing right there, 1 foot in fair territory, so they know pretty much where they're going to hit the ball.
Kozaneski's the next batter. Blaze batting a very cool .365, a senior out of Somerdale, New Jersey. 11 home runs, 50 RBIs. Dangerous man with a bat as they try to keep Polo honest over at first base. You know, Bruce, we have seen all kinds of deliveries to the plate and obviously the pickoffs to first base, and there's no set manner. You just got to come with what you feel comfortable with, and I know that's one of the things as a catcher you really have worked on with a lot of the major leaguers. How about these college kids? What kind of moves are we seeing in this tournament in particular?
Well, the theory behind that is, Sam, I've heard before, if you've got a bad move, don't throw to first base very often, because then you're just going to show the other team that you can't pick anybody off. So there are different ways. You can hold the ball, you can step off, you can slide step to home plate, and of course the pitch out. And those are the ways that keep the runner close. But I think the key is to mix those up. Don't come set and then go to the plate at the same time. Differ your looks to first base, then step off, then go quickly. The next pitch, hold the ball a little bit longer. A runner has a hard time stealing the base the longer he stands there. He wants to time the pitcher and get a good jump.
1 ball, no strike. Polo again just dives back in over the throw. By the way, Jeff Head is the home plate umpire down at first base. That was Ken Eldridge making the last call. Jim Waller down at second, and Tony Manners is the umpire down at third base. A 4-man crew here in the tournament semifinals. From the stretch, Chamberlain will try to keep Polo close again and again. As Bruce pointed out, only 1 steal in 6 attempts so far. Let's check Chamberlain and see if he's going to come to first base or deliver to the plate.
And a lot of times that comes from the dugout. You know, the catcher Antonini looks in and he gets the throw over sign from his coach, Skip Burton.
Here's delivery, misses outside. So 2 balls and a no strike so far to Kozaneski, young man who has played very, very well. As a matter of fact, the last time we saw him was playing against Mississippi State and lit it up very, very well with a lot of base hits, moved the ball around the park. They do play him almost straight away. Good power to all fields. Misses inside for ball 3.
Usually hit your best hitter third in the lineup, and Georgia's doing that, and Kozaneski comes in at .365. Really done a great job for the Bulldogs throughout his career.
Ray Sablee right behind him at .352, so they've got a couple of 3- and 4-hole players that have been hitting the ball well. Here's the delivery by Chamberlain. Catches the inside corner for a called strike 1. One away here. Again, 1 runner on. Jim Polo down at first after a leadoff single.
I'm a little surprised. The count was 3-0, but a lot of times in a baseball game, the 3-0 pitch that give me, you know, fastball guaranteed strike is the best one to hit. And with a hitter like Kozaneski, I was surprised he didn't swing.
Bounding ball, third baseman Johnson makes the turn, and they're going to miss it all around. So Johnson elected to try to catch Polo, had a great jump down to second. As they made the turn, Walker to Jackson, it was not even close at either base.
Well, Polo didn't even really have a big lead, but he hustled down to second base. This ball jams Kozaneski, and you see Johnson with the ball and goes immediately to second, but it's too late. A great job of hustling by the Bulldogs, and you can tell that they want to win this ball game. Usually you just kind of check into second base, but they know what's at stake here today.
So there's 1 away, and runners at first and second now. And Ray Sablee will check in for the Bulldogs of Georgia. A pipeline out of Sarasota, Florida. Our good friends down on Sunshine Network watching the SEC tournament today as Chamberlain delivers in the dirt.
Really a nice stop there by Antonini. Keeps the runners where they're at. And I think a big boost for Georgia will be to get on the board early. We pointed out that LSU's probably a tired club, comes in with a little wind out of their sails after that loss to rival Florida last night.
You got a good look at Antonini, the catcher who tries to block the ball. Polo's on the run to third, and right behind him, charging down to second base, is Kozaneski, and runners now in scoring position for Georgia. And a pass ball on the catcher, Antonini.
I'm not sure this is a pass ball, but in the last 2 pitches, we've seen the extremes. Antonini, the pitch before, did a wonderful job of centering the ball in front of his body and not trying to catch the ball. That time you saw Antonini try to use his glove with one-handed, consequently, in my mind, a wild pitch.
Called strike. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike against Sibley, the batter. John Salonia, a .307 hitter, is on deck for the Bulldogs, who are threatening with 1 away here in the bottom of their 1st inning. You see the numbers on Sibley. Good. .333 so far. Bounding ball. It may get through. Cut off by Walker. Makes the long throw. And he got him, but a run will score. What a great throw by Walker. Off balance and throwing, but the runner, Polo, scores easily for Georgia as they take a 1-0 lead. And Sibley is out on a nice play by Todd Walker, the second baseman for LSU.
Boy, I tell you what, there's a look at Todd Walker right there. You usually expect these plays to be made out of professional players. See the ball high hopped over the middle. We told you the ball would get through the infield. Walker going to his right, plants, and how about this play for a freshman? Right there, you're out. Take a seat, you're 0 for 1. That's a heck of a play.
First baseman Jackson just kind of pivoted up his hill and may have just got it down in time. And now John Salonia checks in. 11 home runs as well, 50 RBIs for him as he takes a pitch low and inside for ball 1. Again, Kozaneski is down at third base, and 1 run is across here for Georgia. Here's the next delivery, and it's a called strike 2. By the way, Texas Tech and Houston have been rained out on the Southwest Conference, so we greet our friends over at the HSE television network and our good friends on Prime Network as they've joined us here from the Louisiana Superdome. Sam Smith along with Bruce Benedict. Here's a slicing ball into left field. It'll score another run. And Salonia is in at first base with a single, and there's 2 across as Kozaneski comes in to score the second run for Georgia.
Boy, the sign of a great hitter, Sam, is to take the ball the other way. Watch Salonia. He doesn't try to pull it. The pitch is up and away from him a little bit. He just drives it into left field. A great piece of hitting, and not only a great piece of hitting, great piece of 2-out hitting, and 2-out RBIs are tough to get.
So with 2 away here in the bottom of the 1st, Jay Cranford will step in. You see the numbers already on a couple of base hits for Georgia. They've capitalized going up against Chamberlain. There's a good stop outside by Antonini, and Chamberlain's a little upset at himself. He just can't find his groove right now.
No, he just can't settle in. Of course, sometimes it takes some pitchers 2 or 3 innings. He's just a sophomore. It might take him a little while to get his feet on the ground.
Here's the next delivery. That'll be a called strike 1. Terry Childers, hard-working catcher for Georgia, is on deck batting .233. Oh, those catchers that always had those shin guards on. The moment of truth. When do you take them off? Swing and a miss.
Well, they came out with a new rule a few years ago, Sam. You know, it's called the speed-up rule. So if you were on deck, if you were a catcher, they wanted you to take your shin guards off in case the hitter in front of you got a hit. You'd be ready to hit, and they wouldn't have to take the time to take them off. But the delay of the game was putting the stuff back on after I made yet another out.
Called strike 3 on the outside corner on Cranford. So the damage has been done, though, on a couple of base hits. The Georgia Bulldogs have come up to take a lead after 1. 2-0 over LSU.
Now that everybody wants a big taste of Pepsi, they're going to need a new slogan.
I got it. Pepsi, a wacky cola.
Pepsi tastes great, but only if you drink it.
The Jimmy Connors of colas.
I was going to say that.
Tastes good and makes a wonderful gift.
Wild, young, thirsty, and free.
If all these people gotta have it, why don't they just say Pepsi? Gotta have it.
There it is.
Gotta have it.
I got 2 words for you. Gotta have
it. Napoleon Bonaparte, a self-proclaimed emperor, a soldier, a man with an odd habit of keeping his hand in his vest. Was it just a quirk, or was he hiding something? It's been a mystery until today. One taste, and you're stuck on Golden Flake forever.
SEC Baseball. 2 national champions in the last 2 years. Now, which team will win the bid to compete in this year's College World Series? From the Superdome in New Orleans, it's the SEC Championship. Live tomorrow at 2 on Sports Sound.
After all the weights have been lifted, after the last pose has been struck, Let's find out who is the most muscular man in the world. It's besides me.
Tomorrow at 6:30 on Sports South.
Georgia leading LSU 2-0 as we head to the top of the second inning. The batting order for LSU that'll be facing on the mound Stan Payne. Johnson, Rios, Sheets, they'll be batting Walker, and Walker leading it off. He crushes one to center field, doesn't carry as far as people thought. Crane camps under it, and there's one away. Barrios follows Walker, Mook, Jackson, Antonini, and Neal round out the batting order for LSU. But again, Walker with a line fly out as you set the defense around, and a pretty good one here, Bruce, for Georgia.
Certainly is. Let's set the defense. Polo, Crane, and Suplee in the outfield left to right. Cranford, Kozaneski, Cassetta, Salonia, Childers behind the plate, and the left-hander Stan Payne on the mound.
Well, you whipped right through there,
Whipped right through that. That's right. That's right.
One away, top of the second inning. Stan Payne looks like he's in a pretty good groove. Misses. No, he catches the outside corner. What does a pitcher feel that he's got something going even this early on, such as Stan Payne right now?
Well, I think that pitch right there was typical. He's aimed for the corner and was off the plate a little bit, but the umpire gave it to him, gives him a lot of confidence to throw the ball over the plate or near it.
Cassetta matching a fine play of Walker early on with a run and a chase and a throw. 4-3 on your scoring card, and there's two away as Barrios goes down after batting .325 so far for the year. And the man that we talked about had to get something going here for LSU, Chris Mook, the left fielder at .327, one of the seniors on this ball club, will step in for the Tigers.
Hey, we need to go down there and tell Stan to not get him out so fast so we can get some of this information. We stayed up all night.
Tons of stuff, I'm telling you.
Absorbing. We need to get it in the game. Cut it out, Stan.
Here's the delivery by Payne. Swing and a miss.
Well, he's throwing nothing but strikes today, and I said I think that'll be big for him. Really be the key as to how far he goes.
By the way, these two ball clubs have met 6 times in tournament play in the SEC. LSU has won 5 of the 6. A swing and a miss, and a rather bad miss indeed by Mook as Stan Payne really kind of throwing the hook at him round.
I'll tell you what, that pitch right there looked like a changeup. Watch that pitch go down and away from Mook right there. A great change. I don't know whether it's circle change or some sort of a 4-finger change, but it looks like he has everything going today, and he'll need to have it.
Boy, Childers has got to know what that pitch is going to do, or he's really handcuffed. Just misses on the outside corner. Back to the numbers on these two teams. LSU is a top-heavy favorite in these series, however. 20 wins and 7 losses. However, in the Dome, featuring the Busch tournament played early this year, Georgia is 5-1 here at the Superdome. And they are rolling to a 2-0 lead with a second strikeout of the afternoon thrown by Stan Payne. Georgia 2, LSU nothing. We go to the bottom of the second.
Dodge Shadow. Find out why most owners of Corollas, Civics, Escorts, and Cavaliers who test drove Dodge Shadow felt it was the superior car. And now, a base Shadow America starts at only $69.92, including a driver's airbag. So make Shadow your choice during the Dodge Dare to Compare Challenge.
For your best deal on the best selection, see your nearby Dodge dealer today.
Sunday night on TBS. Can wild lands accommodate more and more tourists and still remain wild? Now you can help preserve the environment you cherish through a new attitude, ecotourism.
Join me, I'm Sam Waterston for a TBS exclusive, a World of Audubon special.
The Environmental Tourist, premiering 10 Eastern Sunday night, exclusively on TBS.
If you've got to fly for a meeting, fly into New Orleans Airport Hilton and Conference Center. It's the perfect destination for convenient, elegant, flawless service. We feature beautifully appointed meeting rooms, a ballroom, amphitheater, and a fully equipped business center. The New Orleans Airport Hilton and Conference Center. Call 1-800-HILTONS.
Well, that's a nice hotel.
It was nice.
There's a roundabout way for me to get there, and we can document that wonderful story throughout the course of the game, but it certainly is.
Well, we do have a doubleheader today.
Yes, we do.
Here's the leadoff hitter in the bottom of the second inning, Terry Childers, the catcher for Georgia. Senior from Augusta, Georgia. Wonder if he picked up a golf club or two. 233 is average for the year.
Or jumped a fence, or...
Matt Chamberlain, who struggled, giving up a couple of base hits. And 2 runs in that bottom half of the first inning to Georgia. as a 1-1 count here so far on Childers. Reggie Ingram, a 288 designated hitters on deck. He'll be followed by Todd Crane, the center fielder. A swing and a miss there by Childers to make it 1-2.
It's important for Chamberlain to get his feet back on the ground, roughed up a little bit early. See if the young sophomore can come back and get his composure and throw a lot of strikes. See if he can keep his club in the game.
And there it is. So a call, third strike. And the second of the afternoon here thrown by Matt Chamberlain.
After 2 straight breaking balls, you got to think that Childers was looking for another one. Not. Fastball right down the middle.
So a couple of strikeouts here for Chamberlain. Maybe he's starting to find his groove just a bit. Is Reggie Ingram. 31 RBIs. Nobody out there for him to pick up right now. By the way, the change in the lineup, Steve Weber, the coach for Georgia's Bulldogs, changed Jim Cassetta, who batted 8th yesterday, into the number 2 slot, and Reggie Ingram has slid from 2 down to this 8th position, trying to shake the lineup just a bit, despite the fact that Georgia came up with a 6-3 win over Mississippi State. As a matter of fact, a rather easy win yesterday, the way John Hill was throwing the ball again yesterday. Delivery, bounding ball. Kozaneski over, will make the long, that's going to be Sheets for LSU, makes the long throw. And it's going to be 2 away. This will be Crane, center fielder.
You mentioned John Hill, one of the big 3 really for Georgia, with Stan Payne and Jim Musselwhite, and they also have another solid starter in Brad Butler, but he's hurt. Came up to Steve Weber and said, "My shoulder's bothering me, I can't go."
Thus the changing in the pitching rotations for Georgia, and of course LSU. They pretty well listed their 5 they were going to go with in the first 5 games, and then let the chips fall where they may, and they've stayed steadfast to that schedule so far.
And that's really a tribute to the depth of their pitching staff, where they can just name 5 people and stay with them instead of trying to juggle the innings to get their top 2 or 3 people out there as much as they can.
You know, Chamberlain threw a lot of pitches in the first inning, not throwing many now on number 2. As he's throwing, there's a ball just inside the line. It's fair. Crane's got around first, hit for second. Trying to get the ball out of the corner over there for LSU is Berrios, and all the way around to third with a sliding triple is Todd Crane, as Berrios just got it off the wall, and by the time he got it in, Crane was chugging for third, and you see him limping after sliding in. As Bruce pointed out, still a little bit hard around those bases there.
What it is, he went down pretty hard, and this is the first time in this tournament, of course, we watched the ball game last night, that we've seen a ball get down in that corner. Berrios for the Tigers is going to have to go in there, and watch how he goes from the AstroTurf to go to that hard rubber surface, and he keeps his feet, but with the great speed of Crane, he makes it to third base easily.
So with a runner in scoring position with a couple out here in the bottom of the second inning, Georgia threatening again, leading 2-0 to the top of the order, and Jim Polo, who led this game off with a single, batting from the left-hand side of the dish, will step in.
Let's keep an eye on Adrian Antonini, the catcher for LSU today. After every pitch, I believe he looks over into the dugout, and I think he's getting pitch selection from his pitching coach.
How many pitches in college is called out of the dugout compared to that in the pros, Bruce?
Well, quite a bit. There's a look at him right now. There's a good look at Adrian looking in, trying to get the sign from his pitching coach. I like to see more of the catchers calling their own game. We can get into that in a minute.
That would have to come with obviously maturity and experience for a catcher to be that apt to calling the pitches for his pitcher, I'm sure.
Well, you got to get to know your staff, and as the game goes along, I'll explain the different theories about calling your own game.
That evens the count at 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 away. Bottom of the second inning, Georgia with a runner down at third after a triple by Todd Crane. And Jim Polo trying to pick him up here.
Come on, baby.
There's a ball bounded off just off the screen in front of the Georgia dugout.
As we mentioned, there's Antonini looking in. He's still looking in. Skip Bertman looking the other way there, and he finally, there it is, left hand, right, and this all means something. Fastball, breaking ball, up, down, change, whatever. We'll find out right now.
No, he has the hives is what it is. Here's a ball swung on, slicing to left field. Mook is over under it, and even though Crane electrified the Georgia fans with a sliding triple, he's left the board, and at the end of 2, it's still Georgia 2, LSU nothing.
Sports South and Prime Network. Together, we bring you the best in sports.
Thursday evenings will be opening up.
Presenting Digital Music Express. 30 channels of CD quality music. The music you want to hear when you want to hear it. DMX comes through your TV cable into your tuner and right into your stereo. And you get all 30 channels for a lot less than you ever thought you'd pay for music. If you like music, you're gonna love DMX. Digital Music Express. Just call us today.
For more information about DMX, call 543-6585.
Jimmy, you know, we've built a national reputation for recruiting by never selling for anything less than the best. And for building outdoors, the best is Osmos pressure-treated lumber from Great Southern Wood.
Coach, that's right. Osmos is pure and clean, and we give a lifetime guarantee with every piece. And for added protection, folks use Osmos deck screws, clear water repellents, and stains.
So remember, if it doesn't say Osmos on the yellow label, believe me, you don't want it. Hey, have you ever played football before?
A man never quits.
Champions in the last 2 years. Now, which team will win the bid to compete in this year's College World Series? From the Superdome in New Orleans, it's the SEC Championships. Live tomorrow at 2 on Sports South.
This Mississippi Delta City, New Orleans, Louisiana has been most hospitable to the Southeastern Conference Baseball Tournament, and we are inside a mammoth structure known as the Superdome. The only conference tournament being played inside a dome is right here in the SEC. And one of the reasons why the last 2 years have really had a lot of weather problems. We'll try to get to that in a moment. As Kenny Jackson, the first baseman for LSU, will lead it off here in the top of the third for the Tigers. Stan Payne threw 109 pitches in just over 5 innings. How about his pitch total now?
A little more economical today, Sam. He threw 2 innings. He threw 12 pitches. Of course, he's behind this hitter, 2 balls and no strikes. But as we pointed out a couple times today already, I think that is going to be the key to the length of his outing for the Bulldogs today.
Here's the next delivery, and a ball just missing low.
And if I'm LSU on the other side of that, if I'm at LSU, I'm going to go up there and see if I can work him, see if he can throw a number of pitches, get him to go deep in a lot of counts to get him out of there as early as I can.
Jackson is really struggling in this tournament. 1 for 12 so far. Takes a pitch to make it 3-1. He came in batting .311. Actually came in batting higher than that. This 1 for 12 has certainly not helped him. And he's got to get a base on balls in the first of the afternoon. Dished up here by Stan Payne. Payne with a couple of strikeouts so far, but now a base on balls will send Jackson down to first as he leads off this the top of the third. Brings up Adrian Antonini, the catcher out of Miami. Antonini, first time we had a chance to see him, he came up to Bruce Benedict and said, "Really like the way you catch, but could you tell me how to hit home runs?" We all kind of giggled a lot. But
I told him you had a better chance of teaching him than I do.
Here's a bounding ball. Is it enough for 2? Cassetta makes the turn, and it's there, and they turn the double play. Nice play. Kozaneski covering second, back to Solonia at first, and they turn the double play, and Georgia, we made mention, good solid pitching and good defense have helped them get this far.
It's a sinking fastball, and I like the way Stan's pitching. He walks somebody, but he comes right back and gets a slow-footed catcher to hit into a double play. And you love it when you can get 2 outs with 1 pitch.
So a couple down here in the top of the third inning. Third base umpire now, Tony Manners, wants to take a look at the ball.
And sometimes what happens is that the ball on this surface will get scratched up or will get scuffed up a little bit. I'm hoping that that's what it is, because I think the use of Brill cream and Vaseline to get that ball sink is, I don't think we're using that today.
Payne with the delivery. Next batter is Mike Neal. Neal, who alternates with Russ Johnson down at third base. A sophomore out of Hammond, Louisiana. Batting .235 coming to the tournament. 23 RBIs with 3 round trippers. Swing and a miss, and he's got a 0-2 count facing him now to try to battle off a very hard-throwing Stan Payne.
I really like the way he's working. He's getting the ball back quickly, and he's throwing strikes, and it really forces LSU to swing at a lot of pitches they don't want to.
Here's one bounded back.
when you're throwing that many strikes, when your head in counts 0-2 and 1-2, you can afford to try to hit a spot an inch or 2 or 3 off the plate, and then you're more apt to get more calls from the umpire. If you're around the plate, he's going to call more strikes for you. One of the things that he'll have to do as the game develops, though, is to keep the LSU hitters off of the plate so they don't lean out over.
Misses outside, even up the count. Actually, excuse me, 1 ball and 2 strikes, a foul off a moment ago.
Steve Weber told me before the ball game that Stan came up to him and said, even though I had 2 days rest, I'm ready to go.
Catches the inside corner for a called strike 3. That's the 3rd strikeout of the afternoon, registered by Stan Payne, as he and his Georgia Bulldogs are cooking right now with some smoke. They lead it 2-0. We head for the bottom of the 3rd inning in just a moment.
Most people think paint is paint. Is paint. But then again, most people aren't professional painters. There's only one paint this good, and there's only one place you can get it. The pros know. Ask Sherwin-Williams.
When reviewing the new Subaru SVX, Motor Trend stated,
"Can't use enough superlatives to describe this car."
Popular mechanics proclaim,
"It thinks it's a BMW, only better."
Automotive Industries wrote,
"Our unanimous choice is this year's purest engineering effort."
And as Bob Pullum of me in Wisconsin so eloquently expressed, go to a Subaru dealer and get a good quote yourself on an SVX today. Subaru, what to drive.
The best of the Southeastern Conference baseball teams are battling in the semifinals. Georgia in the first game leading LSU 2-0. Welcome aboard as Sports South, along with our Prime Network affiliates, bring you college baseball at its best today from the Superdome in Louisiana. Here is Jim Cassetta leading off for Georgia. A towering fly to the left side. LSU's Russ Johnson, the 3rd baseman, waves Andy Sheets off, and there's 1 down. Kozaneski will step in now for the Dogs.
If I can go back a second, the last out when Stan Payne struck out Mike Neal, the end of that last inning, we were trying to develop the point about pitching away, and you have to come back inside. There was a classic example where he got Mike looking out over the plate and was surprised by an inside fastball for a strike.
Here's a ball swung on, first pitch. Antonini will give chase to the stands, and it'll be out of play. Kozaneski with no balls, 1 strike count on him as Ray Sibley is on deck for Georgia. The Bulldogs were the 1990 national champions. 52-19 they finished that year. They come to this ball game with 35 victories and probably need to get 1 more to assure them chance for sure to make it to the big dance starting next week in the regionals.
Well, I would think they need to win at least this game, but to assure them a berth, I think they have to win the whole tournament. And really, what a setting for us. The last 2 national champions in this ball game here were Georgia and LSU.
Here's the next delivery coming up. Bounding ball to the right side. Walker fumbles the ball. He's not going to make it an error on the 2nd baseman. Boy, I tell you what, Todd Walker, for a freshman, has had all kinds of confidence this year. That time just tried to over-casual that one and just let it get away.
Well, this is going to be an error in any league. Just a 2-hopper. Ball comes right up to him and just can't make the play. The last fastball was straight, and Blaze fouled it away. That fastball you saw tailed away from him a little bit, hit it on the end of the bat. That's a major league, minor league, college, high school, little league, boost.
Sandlot, backyard, whatever it is, that's an error.
E4.
Nobody more disappointed than, of course, Todd Walker. Ray Sibley will step in now for Georgia's Bulldogs. Fouls 1 right straight back for his first delivery. For Matt Chamberlain. By the way, there is no screen directly behind home plate, so the fans have to be very, very alert in this game.
So they're doing. We got a chance. Well, I don't know if anybody can get one up this high or not.
Hey, I tell you what, we got a shot at it.
But by the time it gets there, I think it'll be going slow enough that we can make the play. There's a look right there. We're up there somewhere. We'll show you a shot later, I'm sure.
Here's the next delivery. Antonini blocks the ball outside. Kozaneski had a notion a moment ago. He's had a rather interesting way of reaching base on a fielder's choice in the first inning and now on an error.
See Antonini set outside, and look at that. That's one of those where we tell our catchers in the minor leagues is that you just do whatever you can to keep the ball in front of you. You throw form out the window and try for results.
And Antonini certainly did. Good little changeup thrown that time by Matt Chamberlain. Gets Sibley guessing.
There's a look at this breaking ball. Starts in the middle of the plate and goes on the outer half. And if you're waving at me, hello.
Looked like a watermelon coming up there at one time. Bounding ball. Walker probably will not misfield this one. He does not. And they turn the double play to end the inning. So Walker makes up for it. Despite the error, Georgia can come up with nothing. So we played 3 here at the Superdome in New Orleans. Johnson, Rios, and Sheet coming up for LSU.
Come on. Come on. Come on. Keep moving. Come on. Push. Get out. Push it. Come on.
No matter how good you feel, you can still benefit from whole grain nutrition. But of these leading cereals, only Wheaties is made with 100% whole grain. So no matter what you're shooting for, better get your whole grain.
I bet eat my Wheaties.
Gentlemen, start your engines. It's time once again for the Indy 500, and we'll take you beyond the Brickyard for an inside look at the big event. Join racing superstars for the Indianapolis Race Preview.
Next Saturday night on Sports South.
If you've got to fly for a meeting, fly into the New Orleans Airport Hilton and Conference Center. It's the perfect destination for convenient, elegant, flawless service. We feature beautifully appointed meeting rooms, a ballroom, an amphitheater, and a fully equipped business center. It's the New Orleans Airport Hilton Conference Center. Call 1-800-HILTONS.
Let me point out right, the planes don't get that close to the building.
They do not?
They do not.
Okay. Here's the first delivery to the leadoff hitter here, Russ Johnson for LSU. Stan Payne, again, a little bit more judicious with the number of pitches he's throwing here this afternoon so far. 109 a couple of nights ago, but he's now up to only the 24th pitch of the ball game here, and we're going to the top of the 4th.
Very economical.
Russ Johnson flew out to the right fielder the last time he was up. Check swing, but he's going to get caught for it, and it's no balls with 2 strikes now on Johnson.
A great change there by Stan Payne, and LSU without a hit, they'd like to get one, but they can't get a ball to swing at to put him play hard enough. I don't think they've taken a real good swing off Stan Payne yet.
1991 national champions LSU, 55-18 a year ago. Batting ball to the right side, he won't get this one. And Johnson leads it off with a base hit, and that'll be the first of the afternoon off of Stan Payne.
One of the advantages of playing on AstroTurf is being able to play deep because the ball gets to you quickly. Casetta was standing in right field and right center field, but he couldn't get to this as Johnson drives it through in the first hit for the Tigers.
So now we'll get a look at Stan Payne for the first time as he will throw here to Armando Rios. Again, the center fielder, batting .261, and we'll see Payne for the first time off the stretch today.
Russ Johnson, a stolen base threat comes in with 13 bags and in 15 tries, and we'll take a look at his lead and see if he draws a throw from Stan.
Now here it comes.
Stan has one of those moves for a left-hander that he brings that right leg up and sort of suspends in midair and tries to get the runner to commit himself. And if he goes to second, and he just throws over to first. The runner goes to second.
You can see the lead by Johnson. On the edge of the dirt in the Astro surface here in the Superdome in New Orleans. as they're keeping Johnson close.
Really, to have any chance to steal a base, that right foot of Russ Johnson needs to be on the carpet. Especially off a left-hander, because unless he really gives his move away, you're not going to get that good a jump. So you have to get the biggest lead that you can off of him. There's a look at him.
Rios, a transfer from North Carolina, Charlotte, coming to LSU as they're really minding the store with Johnson over at first. No ball, 1 count, 1 strike count to Rios at the plate. And if there ever was a young man after a couple of errors last night in their loss to Florida that needed a positive enforcement, it would have to be right now. But he's going to swing and miss for strike 2.
Well, when he comes back and wants to have a big game, there's a look at Armando. After making a couple errors, he wants to make things happen. So what does he do? He goes out there and gets a crafty lefty. Makes it all that much tougher on him.
It is indeed. There's that move again by Payne.
What?
Let's take a closer look at that.
Told you, Stan suspends that right leg, looks to the plate. Usually if you look to the plate, you throw to first. If you look at first, you usually throw home.
Here's a bounding ball, scooped up by the first baseman, Salonia, but the runner will advance. Johnson down to second on the sacrifice by Rios, and he's out unassisted by the first baseman. So there's one away, brings up Andy Sheets now. The shortstop batting .326. Bounded out to the second baseman his last trip up.
Smart play by Salonia, kind of a slow chopper. Would have been a risky throw at second base, so he decided to take the sure out. And with a 2-run lead, I think that's a safe play. If you throw that ball away, you're second and third with 1 out.
Stan Payne with 1 away, delivery to Sheets. That'll be in the gap. Be picked up by the right fielder on the first hop. And back it comes in as Sibley. The foe gets all the way through, missed the cutoff man. And of course Johnson was turning third, but elected wisely so to get back as the ball came caroming off the back wall. And now, with going all the way into second base, Sheets and LSU have something going here.
There were a lot of mistakes made on this play. First, a nice piece of hitting by Sheets. He hits it into right center field. But Johnson on first base was caught looking back, and he got a poor turn of third. Consequently, Smoke Laval had to hold him at third base. He couldn't score, and then Suplee makes a mistake by overthrowing the cutoff man, Salonia, and then the ball gets over his head and by the catcher, Childers, and allowing the runner to get to second base. So really a comedy of errors there, really, for Georgia.
So the first 2 hits of the ball game in this inning off of Stan Payne, and now he's really got to work because Todd Walker with 1 away, a .414 batter, 300 in this tournament so far, steps in. He flew out to center field his last time up.
The infield is back. Georgia's going to concede 1 run and try to knock anything off down going into the outfield in the holes.
1 run would slice their 2-0 lead in half. Keep in mind that South Carolina and Florida play in the second game of the doubleheader today.
There's a look at the infield. They will concede the run for the out.
Walker, left-handed swinger. Good look at him here. Just a freshman. One of the top players in the SEC on the all-conference team. As a matter of fact, that was announced just before the tournament. And we still have 11 of the all-conference players that are still in this tournament. Walker, the all-conference second baseman. Kozaneski, the all-conference shortstop. We'll see later a couple of players from South Carolina, 3 as a matter of fact. Sibley out of Georgia. And Lloyd Peavers, pitcher for LSU on the first team, as it is 3 balls and 1 strike on the delivery now to Todd Walker. 2 runners on at second and third. Johnson is at third. Sheets is at second.
Stan has to be careful there. Even though it's lefty against lefty, it's a 3-1 count, and he comes in hitting .414, and you don't do that by hitting pop-ups.
They'll check if he went around, and he does to make it a 3-2 count.
Stan's one of those pitchers not going to give in to you right there. He knows that he's a great hitter for the Tigers, has been all year, and Walker being aggressive with that count, sees what he thinks is a fastball, but then the ball gets away from him. You see the disgust by banging himself on the head there, and still got 1 more though, big guy.
3 balls, 2 strikes, delivery. Called strike 3 on the outside corner. So the big man Todd Walker is down, and Payne dodged a big bullet with a good pitch.
I think this is a perfect pitch right here. Looks off the strike zone, when Childers catches it, but it's where it crosses the plate. And a heck of a pitch in a big situation there for the Bulldogs, and he's 1 out away from getting out of a mess here.
Payne, by the way, is 1 strikeout away from 100 this year. That's his 99th of the campaign. And stepping in is Harry Barrios, the right fielder, batting .325, coming to the tournament this year. Grounded out to the second baseman. Cassetta, his first trip up.
With the exception of Mike Neal at the end of last inning, Stan has stayed away from all the hitters, left or right-handed.
That one missing. 2 balls, no strikes, 2 away. This is the top of the 4th inning. LSU is the visiting team, despite being the host team for the SEC baseball tournament here in New Orleans. Here's Payne's delivery. Batting ball to the left side. Scooping it up, the long throw across. Kozdeneski gets it. And LSU comes up dry. A couple of base hits results in 0. And after 3.5, it's still Georgia by 2.
Sports South and Prime Network. Together, we bring you the best in sports.
Hi, I'm Harold Kofa of Kofa's Home and Garden Center. Tune in each evening at 9 o'clock on CNN for gardening tips from Kofa's. On these programs, we will discuss gardening tips pertaining to a wide range of subjects: roses, flower beds, annuals, perennials, lawns, insect and disease problems. In that way, we will be able to answer some of your questions right out, but if we do not, come by Kofa's and discuss these problems with us. Thank you for shopping Kofa's.
So, learn anything today?
Carl Vogel is a plumber.
I don't know.
In the town of Carrollton, Georgia.
I learned about the wall coming down.
A town where TCI recently introduced cable television to the high school.
Dad?
At first, Carl didn't understand what cable television had to do with education.
I think maybe I might want to go to college.
But if you ask him today...
You think that'll be okay?
Yeah. He'd say it's a change for the better.
I think maybe that'll be okay.
Has been struck. Let's find out who is the most muscular man in the world. That's besides me.
Tomorrow at 6:30 on Sports South.
Well, in addition to the hospitality, obviously there is some great seafood eating here in New Orleans as well, and I'm sure the SEC conference folks have certainly made their trips over, of course, to the French Quarter and every place else that you'll find the true spirit and the flavor of New Orleans.
We're just informed that's the press room. Yeah, we would.
Yeah, right.
like for that to be the press room. Somebody else will be doing this broadcast. Well, we'll see how successful we can be tonight after this doubleheader, rounding up some of those.
John Salonia will lead off here. This is the bottom of the 4th inning for Georgia. They're still on top, 2-0 over the host team LSU. The defending national champions and Matt Chamberlain still throwing here for the Tigers. I think both coaches, as we move to the bottom of the 4th, have to be very pleased that they're getting these innings from Chamberlain and certainly from Payne on the other side for Georgia.
Oh, without a doubt. Both pitchers, especially Stan Payne, doing a great job of keeping their clubs in the game.
Here's a well-hit ball, but it doesn't carry as far as he'd like. Capping it out there is Rios, and that may have been the positiveness that Rios needed. Again, the 2 errors cost dearly against Florida. He makes his first catch in the outfield. Pretty nice bubble man there. And there's 1 man away here in the bottom of the 4th inning.
We told you Armando with 2 errors in yesterday's ball game. If you're an infielder and make an error, you want the ball to hit right back to you so you can make a play and feel good about it. I'm sure he's feeling a little better now that he's fielding one cleanly out there.
Third baseman Cranford will step in. One of the strikeout victims, 1 of 2 so far this afternoon of Matt Chamberlain. And he's going to catch a 1-1 count now. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 away.
What I like about both these pitchers, Sam, is that they're throwing strikes and they're working fast. It just makes the quality of the game that much better.
That one's high and misses. You know, this Bulldog ball club back in last season, 27-31. That was the first sub-500 season since 1977. Steve Weber's done a marvelous job with that national title in '90. And now, of course, battling for an NCAA berth again as he has a 2-2 count on one of his fine hitters, Jay Cranford, the third sacker. Matt Chamberlain In the rotation, they've gone right down the line here for LSU. And he cuts the outside corner for a called strike 3, and that's the third strikeout of the afternoon. Chamberlain striding back to the mound after a fine delivery here.
Cranford, one of the big guns for Georgia, and Chamberlain knows that that fastball might have been a little bit down, but we don't make those decisions. Jeff Head makes them, and he says you're out.
Batting ball will be foul to the left side. Terry Childers, the catcher, turning on the pitch.
One of the things that you get when you're throwing a lot of strikes and you're working fast from umpires is borderline pitches, and I think we just saw one right there on Jay Cranford. The pitch was probably a little down, but he's been around the strike zone all day, plus he gets the break.
Chamberlain nubs this into the dirt. How many catchers have you ever been around that has not been called a hard-nosed competitor? I know you certainly were with Atlanta and a lot of others. Certainly Childers follows right in the long list of catchers that is always right in the game. He's called by his coaches a true delight to work with.
I tell you, it's hard to play that position and not be a hard-nosed player.
Swing and foul back again. Look out for the fans down below.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of foul balls. I'll tell you what, they're trying to make some good plays, but I don't see many gloves here today. I don't know what the heck did he...
Not many, huh? Where's yours?
Where's my glove? It's got dust all over it.
Here's the 0-2 delivery. That'll be blocked by Antonini. Chamberlain really either caught a cleat or really let that one go prematurely as it right in the dirt.
Well, if you're ahead in the count, 0-2, you can afford to try to hit a spot, and he did hit a spot, about 4 feet outside and 3 feet in front of the plate.
Here's the next delivery. Swung on, bounding ball left side. Third baseman is up. Johnson makes the throw to Jackson. And it's a 3-up and 3-down inning for Matt Chamberlain as we're cooking right along. We played floor at the Louisiana Superdome. Georgia still leads it 2-0.
Today, Pepsi announced a new slogan. Mere words? Or is a taste of Pepsi so big, America's really got to have it?
Gotta have it. It's something I felt for years, but never had the words to express.
If it's so popular, how come everybody's drinking it?
Henry's only regret is that he started drinking Pepsi this late in life.
The phrase gotta have it strikes a chord deep in the human psyche.
Now that everybody's gotta have it, Pepsi's not gonna need celebrity endorsers anymore.
And that's what I've been saying all along.
Sunday night on TBS. Can wild lands accommodate more and more tourists and still remain wild? Now you can help preserve the environment you cherish through a new attitude, ecotourism.
Join me, I'm Sam Waterston for a TBS exclusive, a World of Audubon special.
The Environmental Tourist, premiering 10 Eastern Sunday night, exclusively on TBS.
Not that old lawn equipment again.
Last year, he nearly jerked me up by the roots.
Wait a minute. All new Home Light equipment.
I told you he knows a great value when he sees one.
Look, it's a Home Light blower and a string trimmer.
Yes.
A Home Light hedge trimmer and chainsaw and a new Home Light mulching mower.
I love it when he gets environmental.
Just a little off the top, please. Do it right. Do it Home Light. Enter the Home Light Hot Hoop Sweepstakes. You could win a trip to the 1993 All-Star Game.
Well, a couple of youngsters enjoying themselves, and of course the concessionaires and having a nice day today as well. As Georgia leading LSU by the score of 2-0 here at the Louisiana Superdome. Sam Smith along with Bruce Benedict, and we're glad you could join us here on Sports South and our Prime Network affiliates around the country as Chris Mook for LSU will step in. Strikeout victim to Stan Payne in one of the early innings, and Payne continue, even though he got himself in a little bit of a dilemma in the fourth, still pitching fairly well here for Georgia.
Still doing a great job. Goes in the top of the 5th inning, only throwing 39 pitches, and now 40 after that one right there. And the reason we're paying so much attention to his pitch count, in his freshman year, he missed 20 games due to mononucleosis. Excuse me, that sounds good in English if I could get it out. Sophomore season, he missed 13 games due to tendonitis, and this year he missed 3 weeks with a strained shoulder muscle. So he's missed a lot of time for the Bulldogs, but when he's pitched, he's been also awful successful.
Here's a swing by Mook, a bounding ball. It's going to go hard off the carpet. The right fielder, Sablee, can't find it, and Mook's going to go into second base. So a single for sure for Chris Mook as it falls in, and then Sablee could not find the ball after it came off the carpet and came up high. Mook just kept turning first and dug for second.
Mook does a nice job, goes down and away and drives the ball, but watch the plea. Comes in, tries to make it the catch, and then decides that he's not gonna. Tries to keep the ball in front of him, and that is one of the dangers about AstroTurf. The ball bounces, hit him in the chest, went straight up in the air. If that was on a natural surface, that wouldn't happen.
So a base hit and an error as Mook is down at second base, and Kenny Jackson from the left side gets ready to step in. Jackson, no official time at bat. He walked back in the third inning for LSU. Tigers got only 3 base hits in their loss last night to Florida. And Johnson, Sheets, and Kenny Jackson were the 3 players that came up with the base hits. And that was it. Pounded foul right in front of the plate by Jackson.
Skip Bertman said after the game, he said, I can't fault Rios. We got 3 hits in 12 innings. You're not going to win many games like that. And obviously they didn't to Florida. They had 19 hits previously in the tournament. But last night ran into some strong Florida pitching, but today, 5th inning already with 3 hits and a couple of scoring chances. Last inning, and of course a man on second, nobody out here in the 5th.
No ball, 2-strike delivery coming up to Kenny Jackson, a runner on, and it's foul back. By the way, that second game of our doubleheader in the semifinals this afternoon should be a good one. Florida, one of the top teams in the country, against a ball club that is swinging a bat like crazy. .322 team batting average. And they hit 4 home runs in their win yesterday. South Carolina, the Gamecocks, the newcomers in the SEC, are making some noise.
Looking forward to seeing that ball game. Florida with a lot of pitching depth, facing a club that's really swinging the bat well.
Second game of our doubleheader. Set to get underway, probably right around 6 o'clock is Payne. Did he get off the rubber? I guess he did.
You can fake a throw to second. The only place you cannot fake a throw, the only base is first.
First. And of course, 6 Central here in New Orleans, 7 Eastern for the time on the doubleheader, as a swing on a nice pitch in the outside by Payne. And Jackson is down, and there is now the 5th strikeout of the afternoon. That one on a swinger.
I'll tell you what, Stan Payne's doing a lot of fishing, and he's getting a lot of bites. There's one right there from Kenny Jackson. Shows him a lot of fastballs and then a breaking ball off the plate. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be a long day, rest of the day for the Tigers, if they help Stan Payne out like that.
So Stan Payne again being very careful with his pitches this afternoon. Throwing at will here. And Adrian Antonini, the catcher for LSU, is the batter.
Boy, that pitch was unhittable. Fastball in the outside corner. Not something that you want to swing at if you're Adrian Antonini and you're in your first swing. But really a credit to Stan that he's able to put the ball there.
Antonini grounding into a double play the last time up. This one right straight back into the stands.
Hey Sam, let me start this over. Let me see if I can say this word. Mononucleosis.
Very good.
I got it out finally. Like
Yeah.
I said, it would sound good in English.
By the way, there's no truth to the point that Stan Payne is going to donate his body to science after he gets out of Georgia either.
A lot of injuries there, but you got to give him a lot of credit for coming back and hanging in there. And
hey, I tell you what, you got to give a lot of credit to Steve Weber, his coach, to put him in a situation like this and say, hey, big fella, we're going to cook with you, and look what he's doing. Called strike 3 on the outside corner, and Antonini goes down.
And I believe for folks of you at home, we're going to see a fastball pretty far outside right here. Looks about 6 inches outside. But I've told you, if you're working fast and throwing strikes, that umpire will give you the benefit of the doubt. And obviously, he got one right there, much to the chagrin of these LSU fans right here. But that's just the way the game is set up. Thank you very much.
We do have the big screen replay
That's
here
right.
at the Superdome. Here's Payne working quickly to Mike Neal now as LSU in the top of the 5th inning, still trailing Georgia. They've got a runner at second. A single by Mook and an error on the right fielder advanced him to second in scoring position, but 2 straight strikeouts now by Payne have stranded Mook so far. 1 ball, no strike delivery. Swung foul right straight back off the mast that time of Terry Childers.
Little wake-up call for Terry. One of the keys to being a great pitcher is being able to cover up your team's mistakes. As we take a look at this this dental check right here, that's why you always face the field, folks. Your protection, catchers out there, your protection is facing the field. Don't turn your head.
Now, where else would you face?
Well, you know, you get some hitters kind of flinching or ducking or whatever.
I got you, okay. Straight ahead is better. Here's a ball in a gap. A base hit by Neal. Mook's going to try to score. The throw to the plate. He's safe. The throw to second. And in safe diving is Neal. Good base running by Chris Mook has produced a run for LSU. Mike Neal advancing on the throw to home. Gets down to second, and there's 2 away. But LSU is on the board.
Really, a pitch stayed up in the strike zone, and Neal drives it into left. Another mistake by Georgia. With 2 outs and you're a runner, Mook is going to be running on anything hit. The outfielder, Polo, was so far back he had no chance of throwing him out at the plate. And the catcher Childers let the ball come all the way into the plate, allowing the runner Neal to get to second base. So really a mental error by Georgia. That ball should have been cut off. You had no chance to get the runner, to keep that runner Neal at first base. Now you have another runner in scoring position who could possibly tie the game.
So all of this coming after a couple of back-to-back strikeouts by Payne, and now with 2 away, you'll go to and face the top of the order in Russ Johnson.
The point I was trying to make, a sign of a great pitcher is being able to cover up mistakes. And after that mistake by Suplee in the outfield, Stan comes back and gets strikeout. But that hole was too big for him to cover it up completely, as really Neal, the number 9 hitter, comes through with a big hit. Said earlier in the game, 2-out hits are very, very key hits in a ball game, and there's one right there. Gets LSU really kind of gets them feeling good about themselves again.
By the way, Alex Barilak is up in the bullpen now for Georgia. Barilak came in relief in the 9th inning yesterday for John Hill and finally closed that one out as Georgia dispatched Memphis State out of this tournament by the score of 6-3. Hill coming up with his 2nd consecutive win in this tournament over Mississippi State. In that game yesterday, here's another ball by Johnson that'll be falling in. Suplee mishandles it, and we've got a tie game as Neal comes home from second.
Well, that mistake that I told you about of letting Neal get to second base comes back to haunt him as a base hit to right field with 2 outs. 2-out hits, scores runs here for the Tigers, got this place jumping, and that's good because they were all over home plate umpire Jeff Head about his strike call. There's a look at that swing right there. Nice job of hitting, going the other way. Ball is fumbled out there by Suplee, but he had no chance. Once again, with 2 outs, the runner has no fear of being doubled up, goes as soon as contact's made and scores easily.
Rios is a batter for LSU. Stan Payne, who was virtually untouchable in the first 3 innings, has given up 5 base hits now. And more importantly for LSU, Payne has now started to bend, and LSU has tied it at 2-2.
Starting to crack a little bit. The Georgia people felt at 5th or 6th or 7th inning he would really tire out. And even though he hadn't thrown a lot of pitches, his pitches are up a little bit, don't have the movement. And the 2nd and 3rd time around, this is the 3rd time around now for the Tigers who've seen him. Johnson with that base hit, he's made some adjustments.
How aggressive does LSU get here? They've got 2 men away. They've got 2 runs across and a pretty good stick at the plate in Rios. How aggressive do you get with Johnson down at first here?
Well, if I'm Skip Bertman, I get real aggressive because you've already got Georgia back on their heels and Stan Payne a little bit of trouble. And you're already in the tournament, so you really don't have anything to lose here. So keep the pressure on the Bulldogs. And Armando isn't exactly knocking the ball off the wall. He's got a strikeout and an unassisted play at first, so I'd send a runner.
Payne keeping Johnson close over at first.
And Johnson's got 13 bags, so you're really not taking that big a risk. And there we saw Russ Johnson with 1 foot. We'll see if we can catch him with 1 foot on the turf. There it is.
Here's the runner going. A check swing, the throw is down, and he's in there with a stolen base. Aggressive base running here by Russ Johnson has him in scoring position for Rios, who has a 1-1 count. And I have to harken back to the background of Skip Bertman as you take a look at this stolen base again. He came up under the tutelage of Ron Fraser, who is an offensive-minded coach down at the University of Miami. And that's exactly the way that Fraser would have played it, and Bertman did the same here at LSU.
A great jump by Johnson, 1 foot on the carpet, makes it easily despite a strong throw. Once you have a team on the run, it's important to keep them playing defense. You know, and LSU could use a little boost mentally too after what happened to him last night.
So Rios at the plate. Payne delivers. Rios sends a towering drive to right field. Suplee. Will he get it? He does. But not before the damage has been done. 3 base hits in the inning produce a couple of runs, and LSU has come back to tie it with Georgia. We're tied at 2-2 as we head for the bottom of the 5th.
Napoleon Bonaparte, a self-proclaimed emperor, a soldier, a man with an odd habit of keeping his hand in his vest. Was it just a quirk, or was he hiding something? It's been a mystery until today. One taste and you're stuck on Golden Flake forever.
Well, if you've got to come to New Orleans, why not stay where Bruce Benedict stays? That, of course, is the beautiful New Orleans Airport Hilton and Conference Center. A perfect destination for convenient, elegant, flawless service. They feature beautifully appointed meeting rooms, a ballroom, an amphitheater, and a fully equipped business center. It's the New Orleans Airport Hilton and Conference Center, conveniently located at the airport in New Orleans. Call 1-800-HILTONS for reservations. We head now for the bottom of the fifth inning, and Matt Chamberlain still on the mound for LSU. And the leadoff hitter here will be Reggie Ingram. He's the DH. Grounded out his last time up, 0 for 1. Batting .288 as he came to the tournament. Missed outside. 1-1 to count now from Chamberlain. Be interesting to see now what Chamberlain's physical and mental makeup is now. His team has given him a lift with a couple of runs. He had been pitching very, very well in the third and fourth innings in particular. Let's see if he can carry it over here in the fifth.
Well, he comes back. His club just ties the score. They're probably down a little mentally and physically after last night, but you don't win 3 straight SEC titles for nothing. So it's not really surprising that they've come back and played well. But the key for him now would be to come back and shut them out. After your club scores, it's a big key to come up and put a goose egg on the board for the other club to get your team, who's finally starting to swing the bat a little bit, back in the dugout.
Well, Ingram with a 3-ball, 1-strike count, with Crane with a triple in his first time up behind him. Bounding ball to the left side. Johnson scoops and throws. Almost brought the first baseman Jackson off the bag, but he stayed with it. And there's one away on the long throw across the diamond. This does bring up Crane. Crane again with a triple back in the second inning. They recall he slid in rather easily as the ball got all the way down in the corner.
Let's see after that triple by Crane that LSU's defense makes any adjustments. They're starting to move now. Sure, we'll get a look at it in a second. Way over to right field.
Oh, strike one on the outside corner. Third baseman Johnson is way up even with a bag at third. Now starts to backpedal just a little bit. First baseman Jackson back at normal depth here with one away. Crane swings on a ball. It's just foul.
Just about the time you adjust your defense to right field, throw a ball inside, and he hits it down the third baseline. What you have to do in that situation, if you're going to play him to right, you have to keep the ball away from him. Play him away and pitch him away, and not give him anything slow inside to hit into the corner.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 away. Delivery by Chamberlain. Called strike on the outside corner.
Kind of get the feeling the momentum has changed here a little bit.
Excuse me. Of course, the count was 1 ball and 2 strikes. I had looked at the board, and it was a 1-2 count, and this is a called strike 3 on the outside corner. Excuse me.
Really an unhittable pitch. Todd Craig can't do anything but look, and you got to tip your hat to Chamberlain for coming right back and throwing a lot of strikes.
So 2 away now, top of the order. Jim Polo led this ball game off way back when we started shortly after the 3 o'clock hour Central Standard Time with a single for Georgia in their bottom half of the first inning, resulted in 2 runs for them, and he sends the ball to left field. Chris Mook under it, and it's 3 up and 3 down. So LSU's Matt Chamberlain starting to feel he can hold down Georgia, but can his Tigers getting some more run? We're tied at 2 right now.
Sports South and Prime Network. Together, we bring you the best in sports.
So, learn anything today?
Carl Vogel is a plumber
I don't know.
in the town of Carrollton, Georgia.
You learned about the wall coming down.
A town where TCI recently introduced cable television to the high school.
Dad?
At first, Carl didn't understand what cable television had to do with education.
I think maybe I might want to go to college.
But if you ask him today,
You think that'll be okay?
Yeah,
he'd say it's a change for the better.
I think maybe that'll be okay.
Hi, I'm Hal Kofa of Kofa's Home and Garden Center. Tune in each evening at 9 o'clock on CNN for gardening tips from Kofa's. On these programs, we will discuss gardening tips pertaining to a wide range of subjects: roses, flower beds, annuals, perennials, lawns, insects, and disease problems. In that way, we will be able to answer some of your questions right out, but if we do not, come by Kofa's and discuss these problems with us. Thank you for shopping Kofa's.
Facing the competition, man and machine must first face the clock. It's qualification time for NASCAR's Coca-Cola 600. Goodies Poll Day Special, Thursday night at 8 on Sports South.
LSU has out at Georgia 5-3. We are tied at 2-2. Both teams have committed an error. Sam Smith along with Bruce Benedict as you take a look at a new pitcher for Georgia, Alex Barilak. Barilak came in relief for John Hill yesterday in Georgia's 6-3 win over Mississippi. He gave up a couple of base hits and a couple of runs, but again, it was to close out the bottom of the ninth for Georgia and the victory. The leadoff hitter here is Andy Sheets, and he sends one in the gap to the wall. LSU's bats are coming alive. Getting it back in quickly is Todd Crane for Georgia, and Todd Sheets holds up at second with a double as he hit that one sharply into the gap.
Well, this is a high breaking ball that he doesn't get away with. Sheets just pounds it into the gap, and Crane going over to get it. The ball keeps tailing him away from him, and we told you how deep and how big those gaps are in right center. He really does a good job just to hold him to a double. Man on second, nobody out, and a job right here for Walker, even though he comes in with a hefty average, came into the game at 414. I think it's his job to hit the ball to the right side, something middle of the plate in, something slow that he can pull to move that runner over and keep the pressure on the Bulldog.
Well, they didn't wait long to see what they can do about talking to Barilak right now. Steve Weber, the head coach for the Georgia Bulldogs, Stump striding out, 44 years of age in his 12th year at Georgia, 395 wins, 277 losses, College World Series in 87 and 90. 90 winning the NCAA, named as the College Coach of the Year. Again, that sub-500 year last year, but they're rebounding with 35 wins and hope to make the big dance when the bids are put out on Monday. But they need a victory here to really ensure themselves of an opportunity to do that. They, by the way, have had a tough road, and the fact that we were talking to their SID people that they played a lot of the ranked teams, and of course here it's all ranked teams in the finals of the tournament.
Well, before the tournament, they played 28 teams this year who were ranked in the nation's top 25 and split with them 14 and 14, and since then they've played 3 here. So this is their 31st game against teams that have been ranked in the nation, and so you got to figure on strength of schedule that they've got a shot of getting a bid into the tournament. But it all depends on who you talk to, Sam, about what they need to do to get in. And of course, Steve Weber, coach of Georgia, thinks that they're in with what their schedule and what they've done here. But most people think they got to win the tournament or at least play in the finals to assure them a bid.
Well, Coach Weber has elected to stay with Barilak, and he delivers outside and wide for ball 1 to Todd Walker. Walker has fallen under 300 average-wise in the tournament for the first time today. Batting just a shade over 400 for the year as he catches a strike on the inside corner.
Not really sure what that meeting was about with Steve Weber and Alex Barilak. Probably just to settle him down a little bit and saying, look, you know, you're out here and do the best you can. I know you've got a lot of work. Our pitching's not healthy, but go out there and do a job and keep the ball away from this guy, most importantly.
Exactly. Barilak faking a throw. Nobody was there back at second. Just trying to keep him close if he could. By the way, Georgia has a top pitcher, the 39th listed prospect in the U.S., a right-handed pitcher by the name of Brian Powell. It'll be joining their pitching staff next year, so they have already made an early signing that certainly should help the Dogs when they get an opportunity to add him to their pitching staff. Right now, 2 balls and a strike on the delivery by Barilak to Todd Walker with a runner down at second. Andy Sheets opened up with a double here in the inning. That'll make it a 3-1 count.
You see Barilak being very careful with Walker, keeping the ball away, and away. This is a situation right here where you have to be careful and not give in to him. Throw him anything middle of the plate in. Said coming in at 414, and you don't get the 414 hitting balls off the end of the bat.
Here's delivery by Barilak. Swing and a miss. Full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Walker, I think, had that 373 in one of the gaps in his sight when he let go of that one.
Well, you know he's going to be aggressive with a 3-1 count, and I'd like to see young hitters do that. Only a freshman, but very aggressive when ahead in the count.
Only 3 base hits for LSU all night last night against one of the top-ranked teams in the country, Florida, as this one is fouled off left and out of play.
Boy, that was a good piece of hitting right there. That ball was on the outside corner going away from him. And you hear a lot on telecast about how he fought that ball off and he managed to stay alive. And I think that's the perfect example right there, where it's a good pitch and he just tried to get a piece of it to keep himself alive, hoping to get a better ball right here.
And here it comes. Misses high for ball 4. That's a second base on balls given up by Georgia pitching, the first by Barilak. And this will put runners at first and second base now for LSU. Nobody away. Top of the 6th inning. And to the plate, Harry Barrios will step in, the right-handed swinger. Smoke Laval giving him all kinds of signals. Down from third base, he steps in, and Barilak now has some trouble he's got to get out of here. For the Bulldogs tied at 2-2, nobody away. Here's delivery. They're going to third, and he's out. So they put the steal sign on, and Andy Sheets was out at third by a good 5 or 6 strides, even though he tried to gamely slide in there. Meanwhile, the runner Walker held at first base.
Well, that sign that he gave him was the hit and run. And not only did Barrios miss the pitch, you see a great throw up by Childers, but Walker was asleep at the switch at first and didn't go to second. A mental mistake there by the Tigers.
So it cost him a runner in scoring position from second as Sheets is thrown out down at third. Again, Walker holding at first. 1 away now on the count. No balls, 1 strike at the plate to Barrios. Almost caught Walker leaning the wrong way. Well, the story on Walker is just an amazing one for LSU. Is a young man that just as a freshman came in and has already set all kinds of record. Actually got a chance to get a starting position, second base in the fall drills. 51st round choice of the Texas Rangers. You know that's going to go up next time they take a look at him. He was the 91 high school player of the year in Louisiana, also entered in soccer, football. Bossier City is his hometown in Louisiana. Here's the next delivery. Nice pitch.
Well, there's no question about the fact that he's had a great year for the Tigers. But being a freshman, you're prone to making freshman mistakes, and that was one right there, not getting into scoring position.
Yep.
One of the defensive about that, I'll get to in a minute after this pitch. There's a throw over. On the other side of that is if you're the back runner on a double steal situation or a hit and run, you have to make sure that that runner at second goes. You can't be taken off in case he didn't get the sign. You'd end up with 2 guys on second. But even when he could see the throw going to third, he should have gone down.
Well, the runner's going. The hit and run was on again. Barrios got the signal this time. Walker running right on through, but it's a foul deep into the right corner here at the Superdome. Right field over there, Sablee will trot over, and Walker will head back to first. Barrios will head back to the plate where he'll have another swing at it here. Again, as Bruce pointed out, either totally missed the signal on Sheets' throw out at third or just absolutely couldn't get a bat on it, which you've got to try to get something on it.
Well, you do. You have to try anything to put the ball in play and hit a ground ball. It's surprising that they did that play. You know, Barrios is second on the club with home runs and with 9, and you think with that average coming in, a hit and run in that situation is really kind of a surprising move. And now what you have is Walker probably trying to steal a base. You wouldn't want to hit and run with a 0-2 count.
So as Walker stays comfortable over on first base. By the way, back to finish my story on Skip Bertman, of course, coming up under Ron Fraser down at the University of Miami, the #1 college baseball team, and a host of a regional coming up next week. Our good friends along the Prime Network, Sunshine Network, of course, will be the broadcast rights station for Miami Hurricane football, basketball, and baseball next year. So Sunshine certainly picking up all kinds of big noise with the Hurricanes next year along the Prime Network, and you'll probably be seeing a lot of those Hurricane activities on Prime Network, including Sports South, before it's all over.
Barilak paying a lot of attention to Walker at first base with 17 steals.
Here's a swing. This is right at Sibley. He'll make the catch, and Walker has to come back in a hurry to first base. Oh, that was right on the money, but Sibley had to take only 2 steps to garner that one in. So there's 2 men away, still a runner at first base. As again, LSU and Georgia still tied at 2-2. And now Chris Mook, the left fielder, will step in. Mook, a strikeout victim. 1 of 6 early on by the starting pitcher in this ball game. Stan Payne being relieved here by Alex Barilak. And Walker will definitely have a little cleaning bill to work on with that uniform before the day's over.
Bulldogs paying a lot of attention to him, and I think they should. If you're the Tigers, you send him right here. Keep the pressure on.
Next delivery, Walker's going to throw. Just right there in the moment, and it's out. So a fine throw by Childers. Second baseman stepping in, Cassetta caught it right in the sliding path of Walker, and he's out. So LSU challenged, but come up empty, tied at 2-2.
One of the biggest fans of the Southeastern Conference is right here, Ruby Tuesday Restaurants. And as its founder, I can't think of a better way to support SEC sports and academics than by joining the conference as an official corporate sponsor. And it's a great way to cheer on an organization started over 50 years ago. So for all the excitement in sports, let's turn to the Southeastern Conference and turn to Ruby Tuesday when you're ready to relax.
Out. Oh, what a job of pitching by Glavine. Would you believe this? The miracle occurred. Just a beautiful look at the Louisiana Superdome. Sam Smith along with Bruce Benedict here on Sports South and, of course, our Prime Network. And Bruce and I watching a 2-2 ball game right now. Mononucleosis, Benedict. I'm going to get those out here.
Those two, we're going to practice those tonight. How about the weather we're having today?
It is nice. That brings up, it's a windy day here in the Dome. We'll talk about that. Here is Chamberlain with the first pitch. And it comes up to Chris Mook. Here's a reminder, while we've got a moment, we want to remind you that the announcers for the game have been contracted and approved by the Southeastern Conference. Any use, rebroadcast, or other transmission of this game without the express written consent of the SEC and Sports South and host creative communication is prohibited. Again, the delivery by Chamberlain, swung on, bounding ball to the right side. Walker scoops it up and makes the throw to Jackson, and there's one away. Back to the situation with the wind here in the Dome. There is a wind, believe it or not. It blows, what, 1 mile an hour?
1 mile an hour, blowing from the north, and down from the north, up from the south, and across from the east and west. 1 mile an hour.